What's good, Peoria? What's happening, man? Top of the week to you, man. I am Mark Supreme, and you are tuned in to none other than RapPolitics, and you're probably on your phone, so I appreciate y'all tuning in because y'all could have been scrolling anything else in the world, but y'all scrolling Journal Star and RapPolitics, man. We appreciate it, and you already know the drill. We are brought to you by Sherman's, where they carry the best in furniture, mattresses, and appliances, and they're also hiring. Sherman's is one of the few places left in town that doesn't care about your education. They just promote people that work hard, have a good attitude, and follow their core values. One of the few places that hard work gets recognized and gets you ahead. You can log on to shermanscareers.com to check out the openings and apply online. And we're also brought to you by Terry Shepard, a real estate consultant whose values are rooted in customer care and service. She can help you negotiate your next deal and get you into a home that fits. She's with Remax Traders Unlimited, and she can be reached at 309-361-4592. Now, we got a good show lined up today. A lot of people have been telling me about the fact that they want to open up a dispensary, the fact that, they want to get in the cannabis industry some way, somehow, and they want to get more information on it. Some people have asked me for information on it. I'm like, man, I don't even know. Y'all been watching too many lives. But I actually got somebody today who is going to give the breakdown and is actually one of the youngest CEOs in cannabis industry in the country. And so he's going to be popping in with us momentarily, live from Nigeria as well, too. So that's going to be dope. But first, I got to talk about this weekend. Anybody that was outside this weekend really know how outside was this weekend. I'm talking about, look, so there used to be a saying back in like the 30s, 40s, 50s, and I don't know how long it went. Eventually it died out, but the saying was, will it play in Peoria? And after this weekend, it might as well. It might as well. We done had, in a 2-day span, from Friday to Saturday, we had 50 Cent come through. We done had Carl Thomas come through. We done had Juicy J and 3-6 Mafia come through. And Saturday night, if you was watching anything on social media, you seen Boosie Boo come through. And so much to the point where we done made, hey, look, y'all, we done made it to, we made it to 50 Cent's Instagram page. If you was peeping anything, 50 Cent was here on Friday signing autographs on his new cognac. And they said it was the biggest turnout that they've had so far in his Midwest tour, promoting his new cognac. So if that tell y'all anything, look, I feel like what we got going on, and it's not done yet. We got Vito coming. We got Money Moo coming. We've had a ton of shows in the past and several shows that's coming up. And look, I think it's important and it's incumbent upon us to make sure that Peoria gets back to, will it play in Peoria, right? I want to shout out all the promoters, club owners, whatever you got going on in the P that's bringing any type of entertainment, any type of information, any type of anything to the P. We need to keep this up because I'm going to tell y'all this, man. If we keep doing this, people are going to start taking notice, A. And B, I think artists going to want to come here because they're going to see the turnout. We had 1,000 people lined up at Hy-Vee for 50 Cent. I know y'all still rock with 50. That's dope, though. That's dope. You know what I'm saying? Y'all been watching Power. I can dig it. But it's one of those things where, look, it's really upon us. Peoria been cracking for like the last 3, 4, 5 months straight. You know what I'm saying? So let's get Peoria back to, will it play in Peoria? I think we can do that. And we need to let folks know, we need to let the world know, look, if you got a tour and you finna be in Chicago, you might as well slide to the P. If you got a tour and you going to St. Louis, you might as well slide to the P. If you got to go from St. Louis to Chicago, you might as well slide to the P. So, man, look, I love it. Now, I can't cap. I'm probably inside from now on. Look, hey, we talked to Monica last week from the Peoria Public Health Department, talking about Delta variants, and I ain't talking about the sorors because y'all know how I feel about y'all know how I feel about the Delta. But the Lambdas, Phi Betas, and all this stuff, that variant, look, I might be in the crib. But this was a great weekend, a great way to round out the summer of that, SoFest, and everything else we had going on. Just in August, it was cracking, man. So definitely shout out to the city, big shout out to the city. And get y'all questions ready because we got Shane coming up. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the box. And also, I want to take this time out to say real quick, If you ain't subscribed to the Pure Journal Star yet, go ahead and click that subscription button, PJStar.com. Stay abreast on everything that's going on in P and the surrounding area. We got to do that. But as I mentioned before, we got somebody today that he's been featured on Afrotech and featured on Bloomberg Business Week as one of the youngest cannabis CEOs in the country. He's an entrepreneur, businessman, legal trapper of the year, and he's on vacation visiting his family. So he's coming to us all the way from Nigeria. Y'all tap that like button. Y'all tap that love button and holla at my man's Seun Adedeji, man. Seun, what's good?
Yo, what's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm good, man. So look, first of all, I want to shout out to you, fam, because you tapping in all the way from across the ocean from Nigeria. What time is it over there?
Man, it's like 1 a.m. right now. But you the fam, you the bro. Before my shop opened up, you came out to Massachusetts, you showed us love, and it's important that we continue to elevate each other. So appreciate, you building that solid foundation that made me want to be like, yeah, nah, I'm gonna stay up and definitely be on this podcast with you.
Hey, man, appreciate it. We definitely appreciate it, man. It's been a long time coming. And I got to slide out to Boston as soon as I get a chance to. But in the meantime, for the people that is interested in the industry, curious about the industry in general, I'm going to just cut to the chase, man. How can I get a dispensary for the people that want to know?
Yeah, it's a step-by-step process. It's not a race, it's a marathon. One of the biggest barriers, cost access to capital. It takes about $1 million to $5 million just to open a dispensary. If you look at cultivation, it can take you anywhere from $5 million to $100 million, right? Just kind of all depends on how you're looking to structure your entity, and just move your business. How do you get in? First, you got to educate yourself. What part of the cannabis industry do you want to tap into? Don't recreate the wheel. Actually look at the skill set you currently already have and you already built. Some people went to school for accounting. We need accountants, right? If you want to have ownership access, look at your strength, utilize your strength, and gather people around that can help you with your weakness, right? The first thing you got to do is make sure you understand the laws, the rules and regulation, because each state has different rules and regulations associated to it. Example, Chicago, Illinois is a lottery state. They just had the lottery a few weeks ago. And it's one of the toughest markets to get in, but also very lucrative. You have states like Massachusetts where they allow the cities to determine how many licenses they're going to give out. The cities we're in right now are giving out 2 licenses. So in that process, what you have to do is you have to get a host community agreement and non-opposition where you have to apply, get the city to approve you, and get the people to approve you. Chicago, Illinois, for example, is totally different. You have to get an application, pay $5,000 to $10,000 to get your application in. You have to, if you're social equity, were you ever arrested for marijuana possession, that gives you a leverage. It's a point system. So I believe it's like 425, 450 points or something like that, give or take. I could be wrong, but keep in mind that the consistent is point system. So you have to fill out your application. You read the law, fill out the application to the T as they recommend. And also there's a bonus points in Chicago, Illinois, where if you have a vet, that's a bonus point. If you've been arrested, that's a bonus point. If you live in a disproportional area, that's a bonus point. So looking at all that, you want to make sure you hit everything. You don't want to leave anything out. If they say your arm is broken, if your arm is not broken, find somebody's arm that is broken and give them equity. I'm so serious. It is a strategy, and you want to put yourself in the best position to actually win. And simply said, read the law that the state puts in place, get a team that you can basically complement your weakness, find your strength, discover it. If you can't win in Chicago, Illinois, pivot. Look at other states. There's more emerging states. There's 50 states in the United States. Don't give up. Illinois, we didn't win. We had 7 application in. We helped social equity applicants. Unfortunately, we didn't. That was the first state we never won in, right? But it's a learning process for us. We didn't add the vet. The vet was important. We should have added that to it, but we saw it as a bonus. It was not required. It was just a bonus. But we should have did it, right? Long story short, just make sure you read the law, and don't leave anything to chance. Every point counts.
Every point counts. Okay, now we're gonna go to a quick commercial break, and we're gonna come back with actually how he got started. We'll be right back. All right, we back. So with you, Seun, your story is well documented, and it's been documented with not only Business Week but Afrotech. You started off, and you're from Nigeria, came over to the United States at 5 years old, but you were, you know what I'm saying, you was feisty, you was rugged, you know what I'm saying, you were a fighter, and you was an entrepreneur at a super early age, and got arrested for selling cannabis at 13 years old, and then flipped that into being a CEO. Talk about that journey and where the passion for the industry came from.
Yeah, like you said, I'm originally from Lagos, Nigeria. Lagos, Nigeria is a third world country, so it's either you're rich or you poor. So there was a work ethic that was already instilled in me when I saw poverty at a mastery level. So you can look at some of my social media right now, where you could see where I'm at. Right, it's not like the United States, where we have poor, middle, and rich. Right, there's no middle class. There's no governmental assistance. So it's a third world country. And the biggest thing for me was when I came to the United States, it was just the work ethic that was instilled in me. I was always hustling. What it was a disadvantage for me was I lived with my stepmom. It was hard, living with my stepmom. It was consistent. If she's mad at my dad, she takes it out on me. Things like that, right? We didn't have a holistic home, so I was forced to start working at an early age, where I was shoveling snow, raking leaves, doing whatever I have to do to really generate money. So that's how my entrepreneurship really started. And from selling candy and gum, I upgraded to selling cannabis. There was more profit margins, right? I got arrested at the age of 13. I then pivoted, moved to Texas later on, and moving to Texas really changed my perspective. It changed my life in a really positive way. I took my hustle. I kept going with my hustle, but moving to Texas was like a second chance. I wanted to do better. I wanted to be better, right? So I didn't let my past really dictate my present. I pivoted. I learned from my mistake. I learned from being a hot-headed kid and getting in fights, getting in trouble. And I still got in a bit of trouble in Texas, but it was not as great as back then. And I also did wrestling. I was an athlete, right? I ran track, I wrestled. So things like that really helped me out. I had really good coach. I had good people when I was in Illinois that really cared about me because I was a stud athlete, and they wanted the best for me. So a lot of people were directing me to do better and be better, and by sharing their life stories. So shout out to those people. I never really talked about that chapter in my life, but there was a lot of really great people that really just wanted the best for me, and really pushed me towards greatness. So when I saw cannabis legalization, I moved to Washington State. I got married to my high school sweetheart. We're not long. I'm happily divorced.
He said happily divorced. Hey, he said I don't think they was ready.
No,
I was ready, but I don't think they was ready.
No, for sure. No, but it was great, right? So I went out there to Washington State. I seen it. My ex-girl joined the military at the time, so that's what brought us to Washington State. But I saw cannabis legalization unfold in front of my eyes, and I seen like people making $1 million a month. You saw people like making 5 mil a month. And I'm like, wow, this is really a lucrative industry. How can I tap in? So I told people I became the COE, the chief of everything. I didn't have the capital wherewithal that a lot of big white corporation had, but I had a lot of hunger. I had a lot of street hustle, and I was also very like self-sufficient. I did things myself. So in this process, I got rejected for about 2 years. I finally got one yes. I took that yes and I ran with it. Opened my first shop in Eugene, Oregon in 2017. I didn't have enough money. I started with $50,000. It was a combination of credit cards, taking out every life savings I had. And I slept in my shop for a year. I was just hustling, you know what I mean? Like, it was really the trap house. Like, I send you a picture of my first shop. I flew my brother in from Chicago. We were there just like passing out flyers, like whatever we had to do to really make it, really did it. So for me, it was getting creative, like not taking no, but learning from my no's too.
Real quick, I want you to talk about the hustle because they say most businesses fail within the first year. And when you talk about restaurant industries and stuff like that, you talk about even a tighter window probably. But with you going up against not only just who you are, I mean, let's be honest, the skin color, let's be honest, the not coming from money. And then on top of that, you're in an industry that is still federally illegal, right? So even though a state might say do what you want, you could have the feds pop up at any minute and shut everything down. Talk about the hustle and talk about the determination that it takes to see a business through and how long that it takes to get something up and running, because you might see a lot of people that, a couple months, if it's not working, just assume it's not going to work.
Yo, it took me 7 months to be able to like do what I'm doing now. 7 years, I mean, to be able to do what I'm doing now, right? You've been there, Mark. Look, you've been there when I first opened. It was, you seen the shell version, even when the construction was happening, right? You saw it, and someone just, yeah, you're right. I am the youngest African American dispensary owner in the country. I'm the youngest multi-state operator in the whole United States. So in the process, what kept me going? I had a 4-year-old daughter. She was my passion. She was my everything, right? So that was one of my drives. And I wanted a better life for her, something that I never had, something that nobody ever gave me, right? So that was one of my driving force. And also proving myself right was a big driving force for me. There was I believe in this saying, like, burn the boats. In back in the days, there's this, there's a story, right, where they went to war, and the sergeant essentially, the people didn't want to fight because they were outnumbered. So what the captain did was he told them to turn around, and he burned all the ships. This forced them to say, you couldn't go back home, so you had to really stand there and fight or die. It was no option. So for me, my mentality was, look, I knew I was black in a white population. There's less than 2% African Americans in the cannabis industry with ownership. The data showed 4%, but that has actually reduced over time because people have been selling, businesses have been going out of business, lack of management, or people cheating African Americans, multi-state operators putting different addendums and agreements that allows them to take control of African American businesses, or different things like that, or buy them out at a really cheap cost. So, like, let's say, for example, you have an agreement, right? A big white corporation say, yeah, you can have 51%, we'll have 49%, but we have control in voting shares. So yes, you have majority of the equity, but you have no say in your own company. So even though I have less equity than you, the way the contract is structured, I tell you what to do.
And it's all in the paperwork.
I have less equity. And it's all in the paperwork, but some of our people don't hire proper attorneys that really care about them, that really wants the best for them.
So you're saying there's people that Well, first of all, you're saying that the percentage of minorities in the cannabis industry, the numbers that are getting reflected are likely lower than that, first of all.
Absolutely.
And secondly, there's people that
Massachusetts is actually doing a great job, though.
And secondly, there's situations where people have the majority ownership. You can have 70% ownership, but if the minority 30% can vote you out of your 70% ownership, then you end up with no business anyway, and those numbers might not have even already caught all the way up.
The devil is in the details. It's all about how the agreement is structured. If you have really good attorneys, equity stake is great, but if there's different verbiage, there's different things that you can write in agreements that you can buy a buy option, right? So you can put an agreement in place and say, hey, look, if you get a license, I have an option to buy you for $1 million. Now, this option could, but the license is worth $100 million. But because you're an African American, you never seen $1 million before, and you're a social equity applicant, you think that's a great deal, not knowing that, hey, this corporation is about to make 50 mil, 100 mil, and you're just, or 3 mil. You get what I'm saying? Or they'd be like, hey, we'll do a buy option, or we will pay you salary of $500,000 a year, right? Where you will own 51% equity stake, but your salary is $500,000, but they're making about $50 million a year.
It sounds
So
like the music
there's
business.
different agreements. You said what?
I said, it almost sounds like the music business.
Exactly. You get what I'm saying? Is I don't know the music business exactly, but if you're saying that it's similar, I agree with you, because this is what's currently going on in the cannabis industry. If the music industry is experiencing that, so I think for me, what happened, that I got really, like, I'm stubborn, so I didn't want my equity to be taken in my company, so I slept in my shop for a year. I suffered, right? Like, I hustled. I spent all my money. I reinvested my money, and I just made it like, I made it where I was indisposable. They said that, you be your own mascot, and that's what I did. I don't have a mascot. I am my company. You get what I'm saying? So that put me in a really unique position. And I would say, for anybody that's looking to get into the industry, nothing is given, everything is taken. Don't take anything personal. Look for win-win situation. Work with people that you like, because money, like, if you work with bad people, it's gonna hurt you long term, right? Like it's not a race, it's a marathon, like Nipsey would say. Really structure your team accordingly to the value system. Like, understand your value system. I would never tell anybody there's a right way to do this or a wrong way to do it. You just have to be okay with what can you sleep with. $1 million could be really big for some people, and they're cool with it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just want to disclose that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's life changing, right? As long as you have a way to invest that $1 million to generate you more revenue or residual revenue, that's great, right? You can do that. But for the people that are looking for the long play, the long haul, make sure that you educate yourself. If you're not the smartest, hire the smartest people, partner up with the smartest people. Trust is essential, trust who you working with. It's all about value proposition. If their energy does not match with your energy, just move. Trust me, that money won't come, because you're gonna be so stressed out trying to sue people, trying to fight for what's actually yours. Right. It's gonna be hard for you to enjoy it.
So let me ask you this, and I want to get to some audience, not only questions, but some comments that I saw with related to workplace smoking and stuff like that. But you talked about, other people just coming in and taking like a hostile takeover of a minority cannabis business. You being in the cannabis industry in general, how do you feel when you see the dispensaries not only impacting street hustlers, because you were one of those times, but also people that almost might not even been a part of the cannabis culture coming in and almost being a vulture in the industry and in the culture and making millions off of cannabis, while other people are having to figure out how to pivot, but also while you got people that are locked up and still spending time in prison or jail from something 6-7 years ago. I know somebody that did 5 years off a week, 5 years off of like a couple pounds. What goes through your mind, and how do you feel like the government can right size that?
For anybody else, and I don't focus on what other people are doing. I focus on like what am I, right? So right now I'm on the board of NCIA, which is one of the largest lobbying in the cannabis industry. We're putting more minority inclusion. We're looking at different regulations that will put us in a place where we have a seat, or we create our own seat, right? One of the biggest cost barriers to getting in is capital. The second thing is real estate. Real estate and capital is one of the biggest barriers associated to getting into the cannabis industry. When you look at Boston right now, an average lease is going for about $100,000 a year, and I mean $100,000 a month on average. $100,000 a month. It takes on average 3 years to go through your licensing process, right? 3 whole years, you're spending $100,000 a month, right? That's a lot of freaking money. Not a lot of minorities, African Americans, can afford or withstand spending that much money. But for social equity and economic empowerment, right? To look at how can we help people that have been disproportionately affected by the war on drugs, right? How do we get those people out? And I see states more than ever are pushing for those things. But once again, it's actionable items. I'm not focused on what other people are doing or not doing. I'm the type of person like, what am I doing? How am I helping our people? And things that we do is, you know, we help minorities. We fly minorities out in disproportional areas. At least we did our first trial run, and we showed, like, I walked them through my process of opening my dispensary, my first dispensary in Oregon, right? They met CEOs that I've worked with, that I partner up with. We took them on a cultivation tour. We took them on a dispensary tour, so they can actually see and feel what it's like to be an owner. We share the profit and loss report with them. So it's a lot of things that my organization is doing. We have other organization like N4MM. We have other organization like The Block. We have other organization that Jesse is running. And there's just a lot of organizations, you know, Last Prisoner Project, the NCIA. We have just so many other organizations that are pushing. And one of the biggest one is M4MM, just pushing, working diligently to make sure that minority representation is and Normal is another big organization that's pushing for minority inclusion. I'm not a part of it, but I see those people and I praise them because to me, it's all about generational wealth creation for our people to have a seat at the table, for us to be able to, you know, feed our family without worrying about capital restraints, and have a good life, right? That's what we want. So we're just fighting to make sure our people have a seat and a chance.
All right, cool. So we're going to hit audience questions real quick before we slide over to the lightning round. One question comes from Roddy, and he says, what almost made you give up?
Lack of capital, lack of people, you know, lack of feeling. I had an imposter syndrome, actually. I didn't feel like I was good enough or smart enough. I hired like people from like Harvard. I hired from Yale, thinking like I was not good enough, and I'm paying them salary, and I just raised $1 million. I'm like, holy shit. And I look back at it, it's like, holy smokes, I am smart enough. I am good enough to be in those rooms. And getting over my imposter syndrome of feeling like I'm not good enough.
Amanda says, California has a shop that is not for profit. Have you ever looked into this?
No, I have not looked into it. I did hear about it. It was recently. I know the young lady that's doing it. I think they're going to do like training boot camp at this nonprofit stores. Next, like, and show them how to operate a young lady that I met. And she's opened a store in LA. She's looking at doing this, but I have not looked into a nonprofit for a cannabis business. I wouldn't even know where to start or what to, like, what it would look like, right? So right now I'm focused on making profit for our community and a nonprofit, and it's not the direction I want to go right now, but I want to make sure that we get more of our people making money.
Most definitely. Okay, we're gonna jump into the lightning round. All right, so look, lightning round questions. I'm about to put 2 minutes on the clock, and what we're gonna do is rapid fire questions. So East Coast, West Coast, left, right, up, down, whatever. Answer as quick as you can. I'm gonna give you 1:50. You ready? Hold on. So we got him.
I got you.
We got him in night.
Hit me.
We trying to connect from we connected from continent to continent. Can you hear me? Hold on. We're gonna see if we can pull him back up. If you just now tune in, this is Seun Adedeji, one of the youngest, if not the youngest, cannabis and multi-state dispensary owners in the country. Currently, he's visiting family overseas. He's actually from Nigeria. Came over here when he was 5 years old, and he's back there visiting his family where he hasn't seen his mom in over 23 years. Insane. So Wi-Fi connection difficulty. Let's see if we can get him back in. Hold on. Audio only. Can you hear me, Seun?
Yeah, bro, I can. Yo, is it better now?
You slide. We're gonna see if we can get through the lightning round real quick.
Hello?
Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You hear me? Okay, we're gonna try with the delay. We're gonna try to get through the lightning round with the delay.
Can you hear me?
Yep. It's slight delay, but we're gonna try to get through it. So I'm about to put 1:50 on the clock and see if we can get through the lightning round. You ready?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. You know what? Maybe I might need to do 2 minutes. I might give you some extra time on the back end with the internet. All right, boom. All right. Vapes or edibles?
Vape.
Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix.
Favorite artist for a smoke session?
Ooh, it's a hard one. For a smoke session. Let's come back to that one, yo. This one. One, yo.
What thing or activity do you spend the most money on?
What thing? Your MMA gym. Shoes.
MMA gym. Okay, I see you. I already know. Favorite athlete?
Yeah. Favorite athlete? Me.
Okay. East Coast or West Coast?
East Coast.
Wedding cake or gelato?
Ooh, wedding cake, yo. Gelato's pretty fire. They both pretty fire, yo.
Okay.
I just had wedding cake, so I'm just gonna go with wedding cake, yo.
Wedding cake. Okay. Favorite X-Men character?
Wolverine.
New York or LA?
New York.
Blunts or papers?
Papers.
Prince or Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson.
Oh, and if you weren't in the cannabis industry, what would you be doing?
I'll be like dated to MMA.
Okay. And I gotta ask you this because I asked everybody this. Do grits take salt or sugar?
On my grits?
Yeah.
You said what?
Do
Bro,
grits
you know
take
I'm
salt or
African,
sugar?
man. We eat eba and efo.
You said what?
I'm Nigerian. We eat eba and efo. I'm Nigerian, bro. We eat inyon and efo and egusi stew.
Help everybody out.
Uh-huh.
What does that mean?
So, like, you know, I don't eat grits like obe for like stews that's made from like my culture. So, like, that's what I be eating most of the time. Like we eat goat meat, like with stew and like rice and stew and different things like that, bro.
He said also sugar or salt. He said no grits. All right, I got it. Hey, we did slide to the African restaurant out in Boston, man. So yeah, you did show me what it's about. Hey man, appreciate you coming on. Despite being 1 a.m. in Nigeria, despite slight shaky internet, man, you pulled up and gave us a quick lesson. Put out your Instagram out there for the people that want to follow you and catch up with you.
Yeah, y'all can check me out on IG and all social media platform at Cannabisi, CANNABIYESI. And follow us at Elevate Cannabis is spelled down there. Elevate ELEV8 Cannabis CANNABIS. We have 2 additional stores open before the end of this year. So if you guys are bored in Q4 and just want to check out a grand opening, definitely pull up on us on the East Coast. We have a shop in Williamstown on the border of New York that's about to open. We're super excited about that. And we're just doing a lot of great things in the community. We got stuff in New Jersey, partnerships that we're working on with really great people, and we got some partnerships in New York. So we're excited just to keep moving forward and continue to build from the ground up. We're building a foundation, and we'll love for to get more community involvement, and we just want to continue to elevate our community.
That's what it is. That's what it is, man. Hey, appreciate you coming on, and you already know. Rap Politics brought to you by Sherman's, where they carry the best in furniture, mattresses, and appliances. And they don't care about your education. They just promote people that work hard and have a good attitude. You can log on to shermanscareers.com to check out openings online. And we're brought to you by Terry Shepard, a real estate consultant whose values are rooted in customer care and service. She can help you negotiate your next deal and get you into a home that fits. She's with Remax Traders Unlimited, and she can be reached at 309-361-4592. Man, appreciate you coming on Rap Politics, bro.
I appreciate you having me, my guy. Stay elevated.